Australia has always been known for its strong economy. It handled the 2008 world financial crisis better than most other rich countries. Mining helped Australia grow for many years, but things are changing. Recent trends suggest Australia might be in a hidden recession. This means the economy is slow and shrinking, but not in the usual way we think of a recession. Life is getting more expensive for Australian families. This video will look closely at what's happening in Australia's economy right now. Things are uncertain. Some things look good, but others look bad. Usually a recession means the economy shrinks for 6 months in a row, but that doesn't show the whole story. A hidden recession means people have less money, their pay stays the same, and everyone feels worried about money, even if it's not officially a recession. This video will explore why this is happening. We'll look at how it affects regular Australians and what the government is doing about it. Australia's economy is dealing with problems both inside and outside the country. Things happening around the world, like problems with getting supplies and political issues, have slowed down how much Australia's economy is growing. Inside Australia, things like rising prices, higher interest rates, and people feeling less confident about spending money are also causing problems. This video will look at these problems and what they mean for Australia's future. When we hear recession, we think of people losing jobs, businesses closing, and the economy getting much worse quickly. Officially, a recession is when the economy shrinks for 6 months in a row. This is a good rule, but it doesn't tell us everything. A hidden recession is different. It's when the economy is slow and weak for a long time, but it doesn't shrink enough to be called a recession officially. In a hidden recession, the economy might still grow a little, but not enough to keep up with how many more people live in Australia and how much prices are rising. So, even if the economy is growing a little bit, people have less money, and many feel like they're falling behind. This makes people less likely to spend money, businesses less likely to invest, and the economy gets even weaker. Hidden recessions are tricky because they're hard to see. The usual ways we measure the economy, like how much it grows or how many people have jobs, don't show the whole problem. This is because a hidden recession shows up in other ways, like people's pay staying the same, families owing more money, and people not enjoying life as much. Australia's economy is sending mixed signals right now. We just barely avoided a real recession in 2024. The economy grew, but only by about 1.5%. This small growth hides some bigger problems. People aren't feeling good about the economy. They're worried about how much things cost, and that their pay isn't going up. The number of people without jobs hasn't changed much, but that's because some people have stopped looking for work because they're discouraged. The Reserve Bank of Australia, which controls interest rates, has been raising rates to try and stop prices from going up too fast. Prices went up a lot in 2024, more than they have in 30 years. Even though prices are rising more slowly now, they're still higher than the Reserve Bank wants. The Reserve Bank might raise interest rates even more, which could slow the economy down even further. House prices, which were going up a lot and helping the economy, have started to fall in most big cities. Businesses aren't investing much because they're worried about what will happen next. The world economy is slowing down too, which is a problem for Australia because we sell things to other countries. Farmers have had a tough time with droughts and floods, and factories are struggling with high energy prices and cheaper products coming from other countries. One of the biggest problems in Australia right now is that things are getting more expensive faster than people's pay is going up. Things like food rent and electricity cost a lot more than they used to. This means many families are having a hard time paying for everything, and some have to cut back on important things or use their savings. It's still really hard to find a place to live, especially in big cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Rents are very high, making it hard for people to afford a place to live. Even buying a house is too expensive for many people, even though prices have dropped a little. This means younger people, especially, are having a hard time. The rising cost of living is making life hard for many Australians. Families have to make tough choices, like not letting their kids do after-school activities or waiting longer to retire. Worrying about money is also making people stressed and unhappy. Inflation, which means how much more expensive things get over time, is a big reason why Australians can't buy as much as they used to. When inflation is high, your money doesn't go as far. Even if you earn the same amount, you can buy less if prices are going up faster than your pay. Lots of things can cause inflation, like problems getting supplies, lots of people wanting to buy the same things, and what the government does. In Australia, inflation has been caused by a few things happening at the same time. It's harder to get things from other countries because of COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine. Also, people in Australia have been spending more money because the government gave them money during COVID. The Reserve Bank kept interest rates low for a long time, which also made prices go up. The Reserve Bank is raising interest rates now to try and stop prices from going up so fast, but we don't know yet if it will work. Inflation hurts people with less money the most because they spend most of their money on essential things like food, which have gone up in price the most. High inflation can also make your savings worth less, so it's harder to save money. Businesses also have problems with inflation because it costs them more to make things, and it's hard to make customers pay more. The slowdown in Australia's economy isn't affecting everyone the same way. Some businesses are doing okay, while others are having a really hard time. Technology companies are still doing well because people are using more digital services and working from home. Hospitals and doctors are also doing okay because people always need healthcare. But other businesses are struggling. Stores are having a hard time because people aren't spending as much and are shopping online more. Restaurants and hotels, which were already hurt by COVID-19, are still recovering and could be hurt again if the economy gets worse. Construction companies are having trouble because materials cost more. It's hard to find workers, and there aren't as many new building projects. Factories in Australia have been struggling for years and are still having a hard time because energy costs a lot, and it's cheaper to make things in other countries. Farmers are also struggling with droughts, floods, and not enough workers. Some industries doing well and others doing poorly is making people feel uncertain and worried about the economy. The Australian government is trying to help the economy and make things less expensive for people at the same time, which is a tough job. The government has given some money to people with lower and middle incomes, cut taxes on gas, and is helping more with childcare and healthcare costs. But some people say this isn't enough to help families with how much more expensive everything is. The government is also spending money on things like roads, trains, and renewable energy to create jobs and help the economy. But these projects take a long time, so they might not help right away. The Reserve Bank raising interest rates is also important for the economy. Higher interest rates can help stop prices from going up too fast, but they also make it more expensive for people and businesses to borrow money. This can slow the economy down and make it even harder for families to pay their bills. The government and the Reserve Bank have a tough job figuring out what to do right now. Behind all the numbers and government plans are real Australians who are struggling because of this hidden recession. Meet Sarah. She's a single mum with 2 kids who works at a store. Even though she works full-time, she can't afford her rent, food, and bills. She stopped buying things she doesn't need and gets food from a food bank to feed her kids. Then there's John, a retired teacher. The rising cost of living has used up a lot of his savings. John and his wife have put off their retirement plans and might have to sell their house to get some money. They're worried about the future and whether they'll have enough money to live comfortably. Sarah and John are just 2 examples of many Australians struggling because of this hidden recession. Life is getting more expensive, and it's making many families stressed, anxious, and struggling to get by. This shows that the numbers don't tell the whole story, and the real problems are about people's lives. Australia's economy is complicated and uncertain right now. We haven't had an official recession, but many people are struggling with higher prices, pay that isn't going up, and some industries doing badly. The government is trying to help with money and programs, but it's not clear if these will be enough. As Australia deals with these problems, it's important to remember how it's affecting regular people. We need to do a few things to make things better. We need to help people with the rising cost of living and make sure pay goes up. Investing in education, job training, and new ideas can help people get better jobs that pay more. Australia's economy depends too much on things like mining. We need to have more different kinds of businesses so the economy is stronger. As Australia figures out what to do next, it's most important to help people,